the bill to fund the Capitol Police, it passed 213 to 212, with squad members AOC, Jamal, Bowman, and Rashida Tlaib voting present on the bill to fund the Capitol Police. Meanwhile, squad members Ilhan, Omar, Cori, Bush, and Ayanna Pressley voted against it. So if any of the 3 squad members that voted present on the bill voted against it, the bill cannot pass because in the House, it requires 50% of the vote plus 1 vote. So what are your thoughts on the Capitol Police, and do you agree with the way the squad voted?
So on that issue, credit to who voted against it, by the way. But the voting present was yikes. So on January 6th, everybody agrees that that was a terrible thing. I don't think anyone defends that, or at least they shouldn't. But my problem with that is that, let me explain why that funding bill is bad. The police, the police on that day, they already had all the resources. They had all the funding they needed. They had the resources they needed. They had the numbers they needed of officers, and they didn't utilize what they could have to effectively handle the situation. That was a failure on their part. It's not an excuse now because they failed to, and you see this on the higher up as well with, like, in the Senate and in the House, where you have and in the intelligence agencies also, everybody in the establishment is advocating to give more money, more oversight, authority, power to the government, and to increase the funding for the police. And so the fact that or at least, I guess it depends on who you consider in the squad, but the fact that some of these Justice Democrats effectively voted present, I think, is quite telling, and a massive contradiction. And not all of them, like, I think the only one who really even says, like, who adopts a defund the police slogan is maybe Cori Bush. But I've never seen the Justice Democrats advocate for more police funding. I think that's ridiculous, and I think especially since the insurrection was the fault of those in charge who already had enough funding and just didn't utilize it correctly. The fact that you're not voting against this is I don't really know what their position was or why their reason was for voting present, but I will say it's extremely disappointing, and it's kind of pathetic, actually.
So AOC.
Go ahead. I would like to know their reason. I didn't look at their reasoning why, but I know there was no good reason to not vote against this.
Absolutely. So AOC, she pointed out when Tulsi Gabbard voted present on a bill to impeach Donald Trump. She voted present to impeach instead of voting to impeach Donald Trump. So AOC called Tulsi Gabbard effectively a coward for doing so. This bill, and then also AOC. I'm not sure if you saw the video. She she did an interview with, I can't remember who, but she spent 10 minutes explaining why she felt the Capitol bill was inadequate and terrible. Like, she said, one thing that I remember her saying is, she said it creates, like, they do like face recognition, and it normally and the reason why it's so terrible is because the people that program those that technology, it normally discriminates against people of color and with mistaken identity. So she, just like Obama, explained with the NDA of 2011 why he doesn't believe in it, why it's terrible, and then she votes president. Obama voted for it, but she voted president, knowing that
it has all these terrible things.
Yeah, her president vote was effectively a yes vote because
if you're, yeah, well, that's actually a fun fact. Did you know before Obama ran for president that he actually voted president on a lot of really controversial policies? And I think that was really telling of him too, because look how he governed once he was president of the United States. It was a lot of neoliberal garbage. And so the fact that when you vote president on something you should obviously know is wrong, and if you're going to vote president, you should obviously be voting no. That's telling to your actual position. And AOC and a lot of the squad has just been massively contradictive and massively hypocritical on a lot of the policies they claim to support or oppose. Like, you know, look at the border, for example. You know, like, oh my God, Trump has kids in cages, which is terrible. I agree. That is awful. But then Joe Biden actually broke Trump's record for the kids in cages. He put more, like, it ramped it up significantly. There's more kids in cages under Joe Biden than there was under Trump. And all of a sudden, nothing. It's just defense. I've seen some of these people actually defend Joe Biden's kids in cages. It's disgusting. So it's really, like I said, I don't know whether to call it, it's not financial corruption. I don't know whether to call it just ignorance or system corruption, I guess you'd call it. Like, you know, the system has basically corrupted you as a person and your positions. I don't know what it is, but my God, do they suck? Are they awful human beings at this point? Like, just, you have so much power and you can do so much good, and you promised you would use that power to do so much good, and you're just going back on everybody who needs you. People donated their hard-earned money to you to fight for these causes. An entire organization got you elected on the premise that you fight like a Tea Party, like the Tea Party did. And then you just take that hard-earned money and you donate it to a corporate neoliberal Democrats. AOC is taking huge portions of her individual campaign contributions and she's trying to give it to corporate Democrats' campaigns. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? What is going on? It's not financial corruption. Are you brainwashed? Do you not care about people? I don't know what the hell is going on. They suck. They're useless. They're pathetic. They're worthless in they're worthless in Congress. I don't know how to describe them. I don't have the words to describe such disappointments.
What I personally feel about them is most of them came from working class or lower class background. So now that they're in Congress, they have the universal health care that they claim they're fighting for. They have a salary job that pays very well, and they have fame. They have much more money and power than they had at one point. So they're no longer.
So even without that financial corruption, now you're saying their lives are just so cushiony that they don't really care about fighting for those things anymore because they don't feel the pain and the struggles that we all have to feel.
Yep.
I definitely think that's part of it. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't know if that's the whole story, but I can't imagine that hurts the situation. I definitely think that's a portion of it, if not a large portion of the problem with them at this point. I agree.